The marketplace on Vela Prime was loud and full of smells. Merchants shouted over each other, trying to sell glowing fruits, rare spices, and strange mechanical parts. The air shimmered with heat, and dust swirled under the twin suns. "Captain." Aaron moved slowly through the crowd, his eyes scanning for the trader who owed him credits. He was tired from 3 days of flying without rest. But the thought of getting paid kept him moving. As he passed a stall selling old books, a soft voice called out behind him. It was quiet, almost lost in the noise, but the words made him stop. It was not the common trade language of the colonies. It was something older, something he had not heard in years. Aaron turned and saw her, a thin alien girl with pale silver skin and eyes like melted metal. She stared at him as if she had seen a ghost. You speak the lost tongue of my people," she whispered, her voice trembling. Aaron blinked in surprise. "I just said hello," he replied slowly, using the ancient words he had learned long ago from an old human linguist. The girl's hands shook, and her gaze darted around the marketplace. "You must leave now," she said in the common language, her tone urgent. "You do not understand. If they hear you speak it, they will take you away." Aaron frowned. "Who will?" Before she could answer, the crowd shifted. 3 tall alien guards in black armor were pushing through the stalls, their eyes scanning every face. The girl's breath caught. "They are here for me," she whispered. Without warning, she stepped close and grabbed his sleeve. "Please, don't let them take me." Aaron's mind raced. He didn't know this girl, didn't know why the ancient language mattered. But the fear in her eyes was real. The guards were getting closer, their heavy boots thudding against the metal floor. Something inside Aaron told him to move. "Follow me," he muttered. Pulling her toward the edge of the market, they weaved through the crowd, past stalls selling strange alien pets and humming machines. The smell of hot oil and burnt spice filled the air. The guards shouted orders behind them, their deep voices cutting through the noise. Aaron turned sharply into a narrow alley between 2 buildings. The walls were lined with pipes that hissed with steam. The girl's footsteps were quick behind him. "This way," Aaron said. He led her through a side path that opened into a wide docking yard. Rows of ships sat in the heat, their metal surfaces glowing under the suns. Aaron's small cargo ship was near the far end, old but fast. They ran for it, the sound of boots and weapons close behind. As they reached the ramp, a blaster bolt sizzled past Aaron's head, burning into the wall beside him. The girl gasped, but didn't stop running. They scrambled inside, Aaron hitting the controls to raise the ramp. The engines roared to life, filling the ship with a low, steady vibration through the small window. Aaron saw the guards rushing forward, firing again. Bolts of bright light struck the hull, leaving smoking marks. "Hold on," Aaron said, gripping the controls. The ship lifted off the ground, dust and smoke swirling in its wake. The docking yard fell away beneath them, the city shrinking into the distance. The girl sank into the co-pilot seat, her chest rising and falling quickly. "You just made yourself a target," she said, her voice shaking. "They will never stop hunting you now." Aaron looked at her. "Then maybe you should tell me why." The girl hesitated, her silver eyes filled with something between fear and hope. "Because," she said softly, "that language you spoke is forbidden, and anyone who knows it holds the key to the freedom of my people." The hum of the engines filled the small cargo ship as it broke free from Vela Prime's dusty atmosphere. Aaron's hands stayed firm on the controls, guiding the vessel into the dark stretch of open space. Lyra, the silver-eyed alien girl, was still breathing fast, her fingers clutching the edges of her seat through the rear screen. Aaron could see 3 black Imperial interceptors rising from the planet's surface. "They're coming after us," he said, voice calm but eyes sharp. "They won't give up," Lyra whispered. "Once the Empire marks you, you either hide forever or you die." Aaron pressed a switch, sending the ship into a sharp climb. The stars above shifted, the view tilting as they entered the outer edge of the planet's gravity field. One of the interceptors fired a shot, a bright streak of plasma cutting through the dark, but it missed. Aaron's jaw tightened. He flicked another lever, and the ship jolted as the afterburners roared. The sudden burst of speed pushed them toward the safety of open space. "How do you even know my language?" Aaron asked without taking his eyes from the controls. Lyra glanced at him, her expression guarded. "My people called it the first tongue," she said. "It was hours before the Empire came. Before they erased everything, speaking it is death now." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "Then why speak to me in it?" Her lips trembled. "Because you were the first to say it to me since I was a child." The ship shook as another blast scraped the shields. A warning light flashed red on the console. Aaron adjusted their heading, aiming for a cluster of small moons ahead. "We can lose them in the debris field," he said. Lyra gripped her seat tighter. "That place is dangerous. Storms, rocks, and pirates." Aaron allowed himself a small smile. "Perfect. Then they won't follow us easily." As they neared the moons, chunks of rock the size of buildings drifted through space. Lightning-like energy arcs danced between them. The product of the moon's unstable magnetic fields, Aaron weaved the ship through narrow gaps, the hull vibrating with each near miss. The interceptors hesitated at the edge of the field, their pilots unsure if the chase was worth the risk. Then one of them surged forward, firing blindly. The plasma bolt struck an asteroid, shattering it into a spinning cloud of debris. Aaron used the chaos to dive into a shadowed gap between two massive rocks. Inside the cover of the debris, darkness surrounded them. Only the soft blue glow of the control panels lit the cabin. Aaron powered down the main thrusters, letting the ship drift. "They'll scan for us," Lyra warned softly. "Then we'll just have to be quieter than their scanners," Aaron replied. They sat in silence for long minutes, the only sound the faint hum of the life support systems through the viewport. Fragments of stone and dust floated like frozen rain. Lyra finally spoke again, her voice almost a whisper. "The first tongue isn't just words, it's a key to waking something ancient, something powerful." Aaron turned his head slightly. "And the Empire doesn't want anyone to have that key." She nodded slowly. "If they find out you can speak it, they'll tear the stars apart to get you." A faint beep on the scanner broke the quiet. One of the interceptors was sweeping through the debris field, moving slowly but steadily closer. Aaron's mind worked quickly. The ship was unarmed. A trader's vessel was built for speed, not battle. He checked the navigation logs, looking for an escape vector. The only way out was through a narrow corridor between two moon fragments. But it was risky. One wrong move and the ship would be crushed. "Hold on," he said, reigniting the engines. The ship surged forward, weaving through jagged rock formations. The interceptors spotted them and gave chase, its engines flaring bright. Aaron pushed the ship harder, alarms blaring as the hull scraped against a sharp edge of stone. Lyra gripped the armrests, her eyes fixed on the narrow gap ahead. The interceptor fired, the plasma shot passing just over their ship. They shot through the gap, sparks flying. Off the hull, behind them, the interceptor tried to follow, but a drifting boulder smashed into it, sending it spinning into the void. Aaron exhaled slowly, easing the ship into open space again. Lyra looked at him with something between gratitude and disbelief. "You didn't have to save me," she said softly. Aaron met her gaze. "Yeah, well, you didn't have to speak to me in that language either." For a moment, the tension eased, but deep in the darkness of space, Aaron knew this was only the beginning of something much bigger. The stars stretched endlessly around them as Aaron's ship drifted into the safety of deep space. The hum of the engines had softened, and the danger of the chase was over for now. Aaron leaned back in his seat, his eyes still fixed on the dark void ahead. Lyra sat quietly beside him, her silver eyes staring at nothing. Lost in thought, after a long silence, Aaron finally spoke. "All right. You've got my attention. I think it's time you tell me exactly why a dead language has the Empire sending killers after us." Lyra's gaze shifted to him slowly, her expression unreadable. "It's not just a language," she said softly. "It's the first tongue, the oldest voice in the galaxy." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "I learned it from an old human linguist named Dr. Halden. He said it was a beautiful language, hard to translate. He never said anything about it being dangerous." Lyra's lips curved into a faint, almost sad smile. "That's because it isn't dangerous to the people. It's dangerous to the Empire." She stood and walked toward the small observation window at the side of the cabin. Her voice grew quieter, as if she feared even the walls might hear, 1,000 years ago, before the Empire existed. "My people ruled vast worlds. We were builders, makers. We created cities that floated on the air and machines that could think and feel. And every command, every order to those machines was given in the first tongue." Aaron frowned, leaning forward. "You're telling me it's some kind of command language?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, and not just for machines. The first tongue can unlock vaults, awaken guardians, and change the way certain ancient weapons work. It was our gift, but also our downfall." Lyra's fingers touched the glass of the window, her eyes glimmering under the starlight. "When the Empire came, they didn't just want our worlds, they wanted our secrets. They erased the language from history, burned every record, killed every elder who spoke it." Aaron's grip on the armrest tightened. "And now they think I can speak it." "They don't think," Lyra said quietly. "They know. You proved it the moment you answered me in the market." Aaron leaned back in his seat, running a hand through his hair. "Great. So I've got an entire empire hunting me because of a few words I barely understand." "You understand more than you think," she replied, "the way you spoke. It had the rhythm of the elders. You could command the old machines." Her words made something twist in Aaron's gut. He remembered Dr. Halden's strange lessons, the way the old man insisted on perfect pronunciation, on learning the flow of the words as if they were music at the time. Aaron thought it was just an eccentric habit. Now he wasn't so sure. The ship's console beeped softly, breaking the moment, a signal weak. Fragmented was coming from somewhere ahead. Aaron tapped the controls, filtering the static until the sound became clear. It was a voice speaking in the first tongue. Lyra's head snapped toward him. "Someone else knows it," she breathed. Her eyes wide, the signal was repeating, like a call for help. Aaron checked the coordinates. "It's coming from a planet called Coral." "Not far from here." Lyra shook her head. "That world was destroyed 100 years ago. Nothing lives there." "Then something's living there now," Aaron replied. "And if they're speaking your language, I think we should see who." Lyra hesitated, fear and hope battling in her expression. Finally, she nodded. "If it's true, it could mean others survived, maybe even elders." Aaron adjusted the course, the ship turning toward the faint light of a distant star. Hours later, Coral came into view, a cracked, red-brown world with deep canyons and storms swirling across its surface. Lightning flashed inside the clouds, and rivers of molten rock glowed faintly in the dark. Aaron guided the ship lower, following the signal to the mouth of a canyon. The walls of stone rose high on both sides. Jagged and shadowed, the signal was stronger now, but still broken by static. They landed on a flat ridge overlooking the canyon floor. The air outside was thin but breathable. Aaron grabbed a light and a small pack of supplies. Lyra stepped out. With him, her cloak pulled tight against the cold wind. The sound of the signal echoed faintly through the stone walls. Ancient words carried on the air. They moved cautiously along the path, the ground crunching under their boots. The canyon narrowed ahead until they reached a wide stone arch carved with strange symbols. Lyra touched them with her fingers, her eyes filling with emotion. These are the words of the first city, she whispered. This place is older than I thought. A shadow moved inside the arch, and Aaron froze. A figure stepped out tall, cloaked, its face hidden in darkness. When it spoke, the words were in the first tongue. Slow and deliberate, Lyra answered without thinking. The figure's head tilted, and then, for the first time, it stepped fully into the light, revealing eyes just like Lyra's. Silver and ancient, you are late, the stranger said. The Empire is already moving to claim what is hidden here. Aaron and Lyra exchanged a glance. Whatever secret lay in the depths of this canyon was about to pull them even deeper into a fight they didn't yet understand. The wind howled through the canyon, carrying fine dust that clung to skin and clothes. Aaron stood tense, watching the silver-eyed stranger who had just stepped into the light. Lyra's heart pounded in her chest. She had not seen another of her kind in years. The man's face was sharp and lined with age, his gaze steady. You are late, he said again, his voice like the scrape of stone. The Empire is already on its way. Aaron's fingers tightened around the strap of his pack. How do you know? The stranger turned his eyes toward the canyon walls. They have been searching for this place for decades. Your arrival here will have been seen. They will follow the trail. Lyra stepped forward, her voice shaking. What is hidden here? What is so important that the Empire would destroy a world for it? The man studied her for a long moment before answering. An ark, he said simply, the last creation of our people before the fall. It sleeps beneath the canyon, waiting for one who can speak the first tongue to wake it. Aaron felt that weight of the words settle in the air. And let me guess, he said. The Empire wants to make sure no one wakes it. The man's eyes flicked to him. They will not just stop it from waking. They will destroy it, and anyone who knows. It exists. A deep rumble echoed through the canyon. Low at first, then growing louder, Aaron's instincts sharpened. That's not thunder, he said, from above. Dark shapes moved against the sky, dropships, sleek and armored, cutting through the storm clouds. Lyra's breath caught. They're here. The stranger moved quickly. This way, he said, leading them through the stone arch and into a narrow tunnel. The walls glistened with strange mineral veins that caught the light of Aaron's lamp. Behind them, the distant whine of dropship engines grew louder, mixed with a faint metallic clatter of soldiers preparing to land. They emerged into a vast underground chamber, its ceiling lost in shadow. In the center stood a massive structure, not stone, but smooth metal, shaped like the bow of a ship pointing upward. Lyra's eyes widened. The ark, she whispered. Aaron walked closer, running his hand along the cool surface. How do you turn it on? The stranger glanced at him. You speak the words, but you must be precise. One mistake, and it will not answer. Aaron nodded. The memory of Dr. Halden's careful lessons coming back to him. Then you'd better tell me exactly what to say. Before the man could answer, a blast shook the chamber, dust raining down from above. The sound of boots echoed in the tunnel they had just passed through. Imperial soldiers, Aaron said sharply. The stranger's eyes narrowed. They've found us faster than I thought. Lyra's voice was urgent. Aaron, we have to wake it now. Before they get here, Aaron stepped to the base of the ark, his mind racing as the stranger spoke a line in the first tongue. Aaron repeated it, the ancient words feeling heavy on his tongue. The ark responded. With a low hum, faint light beginning to run along its surface. The first of the soldiers burst into the chamber, tall, armored in black, their visors glowing red. Blaster fire lit the darkness, bolts of energy striking the floor and walls. Aaron ducked behind a piece of fallen stone, returning fire with his sidearm. Lyra pulled a small, curved blade from her cloak, moving with speed Aaron had never seen before. The stranger stayed beside the ark, shouting more words for Aaron to speak, each one making the light grow brighter. A soldier leaped over the cover. Toward Aaron, he rolled aside, firing point-blank into the man's chest plate. Sending him crashing to the ground, another blast struck the wall near Lyra. Scattering sparks, she darted forward, her blade slicing through the joints of an enemy's armor. The ark's hum grew louder, the air vibrating with its energy. The soldiers hesitated, glancing at it as if they sensed something they could not understand. Then a voice cold and commanding rang out from the tunnel. A tall officer stepped into the chamber, his armor marked with silver. "Stop them," he ordered. "Kill the human first." Aaron gritted his teeth. "Guess I'm famous now," he muttered, firing again. The stranger shouted the final command, his voice echoing like thunder. Aaron repeated it perfectly, every syllable sharp and clear. The ark's surface flared with blinding light. A deep, resonating sound filled the chamber, as if the planet itself was answering. The soldiers staggered back, their weapons lowering involuntarily. Panels on the ark shifted, revealing intricate patterns of light. Lyra stepped closer, awe in her voice. "It's waking," the officer snarled. "Destroy it." But before his soldiers could fire, a wave of energy burst from the ark. It swept across the room like an invisible storm, throwing the Imperials off their feet. Their armor sparked and shut down, leaving them stunned on the ground. The ark's light dimmed slightly, settling into a steady glow. Aaron looked at the stranger. "Now what?" The man's expression was grave. "Now, you take it away from here before the Empire sends more. And you keep speaking the first tongue until you find the others." Lyra's gaze met Aaron's. There was fear there, but also something else. Determination outside. More dropships roared in the sky. The hunt was far from over. And Aaron knew the next chase would be even more dangerous. The ark's steady hum filled the chamber, its light casting long shadows on the ancient walls. Aaron stood with his hand still resting against the smooth metal, feeling the faint vibration beneath his fingers. Outside, the roar of Imperial dropships echoed faintly. But for the moment, none dared approach the newly awakened giant. The silver-eyed stranger stepped closer to Aaron. "You have done what no one has done in 1,000 years, he said quietly. "But the ark is not safe here. The Empire will return in greater numbers, and they will bring weapons that can tear this canyon apart." Aaron glanced at Lyra. "Then we move it. But how exactly do you move something this big?" The stranger's lips curved into the faintest smile. "You do not move the ark. The ark moves you." Before Aaron could ask what that meant, the hum deepened, and a ripple of light swept across its surface. Symbols glowed brighter, forming lines that ran from the base to the tip. The air around them thickened, as if heavy with invisible pressure. Without warning, the ground beneath their feet trembled. The ark's base opened, revealing a hollow chamber inside, large enough for them to step into. The stranger gestured toward it. "It is a vessel, built to travel where no ship can. Its engines are hidden from scanners, and its path cannot be traced." Aaron hesitated only a second before stepping inside. The interior was unlike anything he had seen. Walls of smooth silver, faint streams of light moving like water under glass. Lyra followed, her gaze sweeping across the space with awe. "This is alive," she whispered. The stranger nodded in its way. "Yes. It remembers every command, every journey." The entrance sealed behind them without a sound, and the air inside shifted warmer, lighter, filled with the faint scent of rain. A deep voice, neither male nor female, spoke in the first tongue. Aaron turned to Lyra. "What's it saying?" She smiled faintly. "It asks where we wish to go." Aaron thought for a moment. "You said there were others, other machines. Like this, right?" The stranger's eyes narrowed. "Yes, scattered across the galaxy, sleeping. Each in a place only the first tongue can reach. Then take us to the nearest one," Aaron said. Lyra repeated his words in the first tongue, and the Ark answered. With a low chime, the floor shifted under their feet, and the walls seemed to dissolve into starlight. Aaron's stomach dropped as the sensation of movement filled him, but there was no thrust. No acceleration. The stars outside were not the same as before. In seconds, the Ark slowed, and a world appeared before them. It was unlike any planet Aaron had seen, a sphere of deep green and gold. Wrapped in clouds that shimmered like liquid metal, the Ark descended smoothly, slipping through the atmosphere without resistance. As they broke through the clouds, the surface unfolded below, endless forests of colossal trees, rivers of glowing water, and mountains carved into shapes that looked almost deliberate. The Ark landed in a clearing at the base of a mountain. The entrance opened, and they stepped out into air that felt fresh and pure. The forest around them was silent, yet alive with faint whispers, as if the leaves themselves were speaking. Aaron scanned the area. "Where exactly are we?" Lyra's voice was soft, almost reverent. "This is Arendar, one of the first worlds we ever settled, untouched by the Empire, hidden from their maps." The stranger walked ahead, leading them toward the mountain. Carved into its side was a massive door covered in the same symbols as the Ark. "This is the resting place of the Sentinel," he said, "a guardian built to protect our worlds. It will answer only to the first tongue." Aaron stepped closer, running his fingers over the carvings. "They're similar to what was on the Ark." "They are instructions, Lyra. Set a code to wake it." The stranger handed Aaron a small, worn tablet with etched markings. "Your voice must be the one to speak the command. The Ark has chosen you." Aaron read the symbols carefully as Lyra translated their meaning. When he spoke them aloud, the sound seemed to sink into the stone for a moment. Nothing happened. Then the ground shook, and the massive door began to open. Inside, a dim light grew brighter, revealing the towering form of the Sentinel. It was shaped like a giant humanoid, its armor-like plating covered in vines. Its eyes dark and still. Lyra's voice trembled. "It's real. It survived." Aaron stepped forward, speaking the final line of the command. The Sentinel's eyes flared to life, glowing with the same silver light as the Ark. It moved slowly, the sound of ancient metal echoing in the chamber. The stranger's face was solemn, with the Ark and the Sentinel. "We have a chance to stand against the Empire." Aaron exhaled, "and I'm guessing they're not far behind." As if answering his words, the Ark's interior lights flashed a warning. Lyra pressed her hand to the side of the Ark. Listening to its silent message, her face hardened. "They've found us," she said. "Imperial scouts are already in orbit." Aaron looked at the towering Sentinel, then back at the Ark. "Then it's time to see if this thing can fight." The forest around them seemed to hold its breath as the distant rumble of engines filled the sky. The sky above Arendar darkened as Imperial ships cut through the clouds. Their black hulls reflected the strange golden light of the planet, and the hum of their engines grew louder with every passing second. Aaron stood in the clearing, staring up at the approaching fleet. Beside him, the towering Sentinel shifted, the vines falling away from its plated armor as it came fully to life. The Ark, still humming quietly, seemed to pulse in rhythm with the giant guardian. Lyra's eyes darted between them. "The Ark says the Sentinel will follow your commands, but only if you speak in the first tongue." Aaron glanced at her. "Then tell me what to say, because those ships aren't here for a friendly chat." The silver-eyed stranger stepped forward, his voice urgent. "Begin with the call to arms." "It will awaken its weapons," Lyra translated, and Aaron repeated the ancient words. His voice firm, the sentinel's eyes flared brighter, and its massive arms unfolded, revealing built-in cannons that glowed with a deep silver light. From the sky, the first wave of Imperial dropships broke formation, diving toward the clearing. Blaster fire erupted from their sides, streaks of red energy raining down. The sentinel raised one arm, a shimmering shield flaring into place, the blast splashing harmlessly against it. Aaron felt the vibration of power in the ground. "That's a good start," he muttered. Lyra's voice was quick. "Now tell it to strike." Aaron spoke the command, and the sentinel's other arm rose, firing a beam of pure energy into the sky. One dropship exploded instantly, scattering flaming debris into the forest below. The rest pulled back, but more ships were already descending from orbit. The Ark's voice echoed in the first tongue, and Lyra's face grew grim. "It says there are heavy cruisers in the upper atmosphere. If they break through, they'll destroy this entire region." Aaron cursed under his breath. "Then we don't let them break through." The sentinel strode forward, each step shaking the earth. Its cannons fired in rapid bursts, cutting down soldiers as they poured from the dropships. Aaron moved alongside Lyra and the stranger, firing his own weapon at any enemy that slipped past the giant. Blaster bolts scorched the ground near his feet, forcing him to dive behind the Ark for cover. An explosion ripped through the side of the clearing, trees splintering as a massive armored walker emerged. It was twice the height of the sentinel's waist, bristling with missile pods. Lyra's eyes widened. They brought ground armor. Aaron didn't hesitate. Shouting another command in the first tongue, the sentinel turned toward the walker, its shoulder plating shifting to reveal a cluster of rockets. With a deafening roar, it fired, the missiles striking the walker's legs and sending it crashing to the ground in flames. But the victory was brief. From above, the shadow of a heavy cruiser loomed, its underbelly glowing with the charge of a massive orbital cannon. The Ark's voice rose sharply, its tone almost urgent. Lyra translated quickly. "It says we must leave now. The blast will destroy everything in a radius of 10 kilometers. Aaron looked at the sentinel. "Can it move with us?" The stranger nodded slowly. "Yes, if you command it to guard the Ark as it travels." Aaron spoke the order, and the sentinel knelt, gripping the Ark's outer hull with one massive hand. The Ark's entrance opened, and Aaron, Lyra, and the stranger rushed inside. The air shimmered with energy as the vessel came alive. Through the open viewports, they saw the cruiser's cannon begin to fire. The sentinel raised its shield arm, the blast striking it with a blinding flash. The ground shook violently, trees ripping from their roots. But the sentinel held firm just long enough for the Ark to vanish into the air with a sudden burst of light. Inside, the walls of the Ark rippled like liquid, and the crushing heat from the blast faded away. Aaron steadied himself, breathing hard. "Where are we going?" Lyra listened to the Ark's deep, steady voice. "It says, to the place where the war will be decided." Aaron leaned against the wall, his pulse still racing. "That sounds like trouble." The stranger's voice was grim. "It is, but it is also the only hope we have. Every Ark, every sentinel, every survivor must gather there if we are to stand against the Empire." Through the shifting light of the Ark's inner walls, Aaron caught a final glimpse of Erendir far below. The clearing now nothing but smoke and fire. The sentinel still moved in the chaos, striking down the last of the Imperial troops. Then the image faded, replaced by the cold, endless stretch of space. Aaron glanced at Lyra. "I hope this place we're going is worth it." Her silver eyes met his. "It has to be, or there won't be anything left to save." The Ark's hum deepened, and stars bent and shifted around them. The final battle was coming, and Aaron knew that whatever waited ahead would decide not just his fate, But the fate of entire worlds, the Ark glided through the black sea of space. Its movement silent, smooth, almost like it was dreaming. Aaron sat in the pilot's seat. Oh, he wasn't really flying. The Ark needed no hands to guide it. The hum of its engines was steady, a heartbeat that never faltered beside him. Lyra sat with her silver eyes half closed, listening to the quiet voice of the ancient vessel. The stranger stood near the back, his arms folded, his expression unreadable. After hours of travel, the Ark slowed, the stars outside shifting into a dense cluster of light. A massive planet appeared ahead, surrounded by rings that glittered like ice and stone. The Ark's voice deepened, speaking in the first tongue. Lyra listened, then turned to Aaron. "It says this is the gathering world, a hidden place where our kind once met to decide the fate of wars." Aaron studied the planet as they descended from above. Its surface was a patchwork of green valleys, high mountains, and deep blue oceans. But what caught his eye were the shapes on the ground, colossal structures, long abandoned, built in perfect circles. They looked like meeting halls for giants. The Ark landed in the largest of those circles, its hull folding open, warm air swept inside, carrying the scent of fresh earth and distant rain. As they stepped out, Aaron noticed movement in the distance. Figures were approaching, not just Lyra's kind, but beings of different shapes, colors, and species. Some wore armor, some carried tools, others simply walked with cautious curiosity. Lyra's breath caught. "These are survivors," she whispered, "refugees from the Empire's reach." The stranger nodded slowly. "They have been waiting for someone to awaken the Arks." One by one, the figures entered the circle, forming a loose ring around the Ark. Their eyes followed Aaron, some with hope, some with doubt. A tall alien with crystalline skin stepped forward, his voice carrying a low, resonant tone. "You are the human who woke the first Ark?" Aaron hesitated, then nodded. "I didn't exactly plan to, but..." A murmur spread through the crowd. The crystalline alien looked to Lyra. "And you, the last daughter of the House of Valon. You brought him here." Lyra straightened. "Yes, because he can speak the first tongue, and with it, he can unite what remains of our strength." The stranger stepped forward, his voice firm. "Time is short. The Empire has seen the Ark move. They will learn where it is gone. We must awaken the others before they arrive." Another voice came from the crowd, sharp and doubtful. "And why should we follow a human? The Empire has 1,000 ships, and we have scraps." Aaron stepped closer, meeting the speaker's gaze. "Because the Empire's power isn't the only thing that matters. What matters is that they think you're beaten. And I don't think you are," he pointed toward the Ark. "That ship and the Sentinel on Arendar are proof that your people built things the Empire can't destroy. They can only hide them, and we're going to find them." The crystalline alien studied Aaron for a long moment before nodding slowly. "Then you will need more than one Ark." Lyra's voice was quiet but steady. "We know where to start." As the crowd began to disperse, some moving to prepare supplies, others speaking urgently in their own tongues, Aaron turned to Lyra. "What happens after we wake them all?" She looked toward the distant horizon, where the sun was sinking into the sea. "Then we take back what was stolen." The Ark's voice spoke again, this time louder. Its words rolled through the air like thunder, and though Aaron couldn't understand them, he felt their weight. Lyra translated, her voice soft. "It says this is only the first step. The war has not yet begun." Night fell over the gathering world, the stars reflecting on the smooth surface of the Ark. Fires lit in the valley below as survivors shared food, stories, and cautious plans. Aaron sat apart for a while, staring at the sky. He thought about the old linguist who had taught him the first tongue, the quiet afternoons spent repeating words he hadn't understood. Now, those same words might be the only thing keeping entire worlds alive. Lyra joined him, sitting on the grass. "You could have left me in the marketplace," she said quietly. Aaron shrugged. "Could have. But then I wouldn't be here, and this feels like where I'm supposed to be for a moment." Neither spoke. The night wind carrying the distant sound of voices and laughter. The stranger approached, his shadow long in the firelight. "When the next ark is found, there will be no hiding from the Empire. They will throw everything they have at us." Aaron met his gaze. "Good, let them come." From the dark sky above, the faint outline of a ship moved silently past the stars. It wasn't imperial. Its shape was older, its movement purposeful. Lyra's eyes followed it. "Another ark," she said, her voice filled with hope. Aaron stood, the firelight catching the determination in his face. "Then we've got work to do." The ark's hum deepened again, like it was listening. The night on the gathering world felt calm for now. But every person there knew it was only the calm before the storm. And somewhere, far across the stars, the Empire was already moving, unaware that the first sparks of rebellion had just been lit.